So I got to spend some time this weekend with a really good friend of mine. And we were talking earlier today, and it made me just think of um, how important this conversation was. And I just wanted to share some thoughts on it. So she mentioned to me a term I've never heard before called a gatekeeper. And she actually thanked me for not being a gatekeeper. And I had no idea what that even meant. But basically, she explained to me as a gatekeeper is someone who kind of like keeps things to themselves, for themselves. And I actually looked up the definition, so I'll read it here. So, one of the definitions for a gatekeeper is one who controls access to something, such as information or services. And we kind of just got on the topic of how prevalent this is in society, and like why. And I have my own little thoughts and theories on the reason why. And so I was just kind of wanting to share that with people and see what you think. And hopefully, this could be a great open conversation that we can think about for ourselves and then just like talking with others too. Um, so for me personally, I feel like I 100% used to be there where you're like scared to share stuff with people. Um, and a couple of different reasons why. Like, first of all, it could just be because of pure fear of vulnerability. Like, um, I have this idea. I think it's a good idea, but I don't know if anyone else thinks it's a good idea. And I am too self conscious and afraid to risk sharing that idea because I don't want to look dumb. So that's one reason you might not share something. And I 100% used to relate to that. And still do, of course. Like all these things, I still relate to these things and do these things every single day. I am just trying to grow past this. So I am by no means perfect and I'm struggling with all these things all the time. But thankfully, it's been getting a lot better with time. But yeah, and I think like just my whole mindset has been changing lately. And as my mindset changes, I just view things differently. And it's not like I didn't even know gatekeepers a term, I didn't know that's a thing. I just, as I've been changing, it just naturally changed for me. Anyways, I feel like another reason why people can be gatekeepers is because of fear of like keeping it for yourself for survival reasons. So it could be out of fear of like what will come by you talking about it, like will it get you into trouble, or also it can be a fear of not sharing something just because like you do think and know it's a good idea or good information and you want to feel special or you want to feel like um, you have this information and you can do something with it for yourself, like maybe start a business or make money off of it or inspire someone or like feel like you're um like special for having these things. So like a super small classic example could just be something as like a secret recipe, right? As silly as that is, that's kind of one little example of, well, why do you not want to share your recipe? And not always, but a lot of times it's just because like it's special to you, right? Like that's what makes you you, and you don't want other people to learn that secret recipe because then all of a sudden, next thing you know, like your secret recipe that everybody loves isn't as special anymore, and so you have that fear of like, if I give this away, I am letting go of all the good things that comes from just keeping it to myself. And I kind of struggled with that. I feel like a little bit. But as I've been changing, I just see it so much different now. And I don't know. I just, I honestly love sharing now. And here is a little theory I have. um, and this is probably not the correct term, um, but I have this theory that the reason why we struggle with this concept of gatekeeping is because of a theory of what I personally call like poverty mindset. And poverty might be the wrong word because people like connect poverty with like financial things. And although financial things is a part of it, I feel like it's so much more than this. So I'm sorry if this is a incorrect term to use. It's just the first thing that came to my head on how to explain my theory. But basically, I feel like we're kind of programmed in a way to believe that we have limited means, right? It's like I feel like we are programmed to live like and believe that what we have in front of us is all we got. Like, you better take it seriously. You can't risk losing it. If you lose it, you're gonna risk jeopardizing your whole family and your whole future and your whole income and like your whole life and lifestyle. And so like you can't mess up. Like, what you've got is what you got. And for the most part, I feel like most people believe like where they are in life is like all they can accomplish or all that they deserve to have or all that they'll be able to do. Like, it's not in the cards for them or the stars for them or whatever people say. Like, they just believe that like they're at where they're at. Things are limited, and so you better be careful. And also like the idea of like thinking that I don't know how to word this. But basically like if you have a really good idea, for example, and you feel like, let's go the financial route. Say you feel like this is going to make a ton of money. This is a fantastic idea. And so you want to like keep it to yourself, right? Because you're like, well, this is my $1,000,000 idea. Like, I'm going to be the one to cash in this check. Like, this is mine. And so what a lot of people do is they keep that $1,000,000 idea to themselves. And even though they might not ever pursue it, even though they might not be the best person to pursue it, maybe they don't have the resources to, the right information to, whatever it is, they'll keep it to themselves because it's like in their mind they're thinking like, if I can't get rich off of it or have success from this idea, like no one can. So that's just like one less person above me, right? Like, it's just like I feel like naturally as humans we still have this like animalistic behavior. Like, we're so like looking at the food chain or like our predators or whatever. And so I feel like we kind of think a lot of funny things just because we're so used to living in this like fight or flight. I don't know, just this kind of animalistic side of humans, this mammal side. And I feel like as we are growing, as we are maturing, so to say, and becoming more knowledgeable, I feel like a lot of that is starting to leave, thankfully. And I feel like we are starting to evolve and we're learning more things. And like, I mean, look at today's technology is insane and how much things have changed over such a short period of time. Like, we are definitely evolving and changing on a dramatic scale. But I think that side of us, that like what I call like animal side of us, the side that needs to take care of how we take care of ourselves and how we survive. So like, I need to eat, I need to feed my family, I need to have a shelter, I need to be safe, I need to be secure. Like, we have all of these needs, right, to just survive. And so all these animalistic surviving methods are still ingrained in us. And even though we are living in a complete different world, we still have a lot of those old habits of like obsessively focusing on survival. Because at one point in our history of being humans, like we had to worry about surviving all the time. I mean, like people are dying all the time of a cold and flu or a fever or childbirth or all these things you take for granted, or a lack of food, lack of supplies, no shelter, freezing to death. Like so many things that we don't even like worry about on a day-to-day basis was all we could worry about. I mean, people would literally have to just, their whole lives revolved around like finding food, staying warm, staying healthy, taking care of your family, like to make them all stay alive. Like, that's it. You know, you'd wake up, you'd hunt, you'd farm, you'd try to gather, you try to look for berries, whatever people did. And that's all they could do. And so, like, their whole lives literally revolved around survival. And now we have these luxuries that most, you know, people didn't have even like 100 years ago, or, you know, especially like 1,000 years ago. Crazy how much things have changed. And things we take for granted, like our toilet system, how amazing. Our like sanitary things, like how many people are just not sick just because we're more sanitary. Anyways, I could go on forever and ever about all the things that we have done and how much things have changed. But the bottom line, the point I'm trying to get to is like things have changed and we no longer have to hyper focus on survival, but we tend to still do because we're humans. And even though our world is evolving and we're evolving, we're still like kind of delayed on how our mindset is evolving. And I am learning just how much of a delay I have. And so I'm hoping talking about it, like we can just kind of rub off on ideas and like, yeah. So anyway, so as I'm realizing that my mindset is totally wrong, it starts to make more sense for me. Like I didn't realize how much I was so focused on surviving. And I feel like it's hard for people to recognize that they're in survival mode because we view it differently. Like we may not be like worried about like physically going out there and making food and gathering food like we used to, but like we will instead be obsessed with like how we're going to make money or what we're going to do with money or this and that. Like there is this fear that we're not going to have enough. And so because of this fear that we have, our ways to cope with it is to feel like you have to hoard everything. So you have to hoard your ideas and your time and your money and your everything because like you can't risk letting go of any of it because you desperately need it. You need it to survive, and you're so caught up on worrying about like how you're gonna live that you forget to live. And honestly, it slows everything down. So there's so many millions of like there's billions, literally billions of people on this planet, and they all carry something special, each and every one of them. And they're completely different, and they have completely different ideas and amazing ideas. And then all of us are in a different situation, whether it's like lifestyle or finances or a career or what we're exposed to or whatever. Like we all live different lives. And I just think about this, the damage that this like hoarding does to our society. And I just think of like if nobody was afraid um, to throw things so say you weren't so consumed in your own survival that you were willing to share your amazing ideas and you're willing to share all these things with people. Like, just think if everyone did that, like how amazing that would be. Think of the billions of ideas out there and stories and products and like all these things that people have, ideas, thoughts, like everything. Like, it's endless. And so much of it is unknown because we're too afraid to share it. Like, me talking right now, I am terrified to talk in front of the camera. I've grown up with so much self-esteem issues. And I feel like as soon as I get on the camera, I feel like I can't even talk. And yet here I am, I'm doing it because like I'm determined to break this fear that I have. For me, it's like, for me talking on here personally, it's like a fear of like what people think. How do you look? Is this gonna make someone upset? Like, so me being on here is me facing my own fear that I have had for a very long time. And so I just think of all of these wonderful gifts we have that we can share with this world. And it makes me so excited and so inspired when I think of all you amazing people with all your amazing and unique talents and traits and things you get to bring to this world. And to think of a world that we can openly share these things and like stop being gatekeepers is honestly amazing to me, and it makes me so excited. And I do truly believe like we are getting there. We are getting to a point where we can start to like calm down a little bit on survival mode. Like, I think a lot of us are starting to realize like, okay, like I do have a lot of extra help right now. Like, I have a lot of help with technology and modern world that gives me the time that I need to do other things, to share other things, to do, to help others. You know, we are blessed with this opportunity to have way more time to do these things than any other human did prior. You know, we don't have to do everything on our own. We have an entire internet system and connection ways to connect with people. Like, it is crazy, you guys. Like, what a time to be alive. Like, truly, this is truly incredible. Everything we have and how much time we have freed up. And now we need to take the next step, and we need to learn to let go of these fears, to know that this world is endless, this universe is endless, and there is so much abundance of everything. And if we could just learn how to work together and to share these amazing ideas and to stop being gatekeepers, stop blocking all of your amazing goodness you have to share with this world. Instead, like, share it. And it feels so good to share it. I feel like, I don't know, I'm starting to share more than I ever have. And it's honestly amazing. And it's true happiness. Because, like, there's not a better feeling in this world to feel like you can give something positive to somebody else's life. Like, whether it is a tip, a comment, a piece of advice, being able to financially help someone, time, being able to give time to somebody to help them with something, like a billion things, right? There's like a billion ways you can help people. And I think if we can leave this mindset of, I don't have enough, I have to survive, I have to worry about me. If we can leave that mindset and instead I can think, oh my gosh, I have way more than I need. I have plenty. I have so much time. I'm so blessed with this. Like, what can I do now to like how can I use this amazing time that I have, and these amazing resources that I have and ideas that I have, this brain, anything, whatever it is. How can we use that to continue to better this world? How can we use it to help somebody else's life? Um, it's just, I feel like people don't believe that they are worthy, or of value, or have much to contribute to this world. But I'm telling you, you have no idea how valuable you are. You have no idea how needed you are. And those ideas in your head are so important. And those things that you can do with your hands, and the time that you can give to others, and anything you have contribute is so needed and so vital and so important to this whole world. And I mean that like 100%. I was one who felt like I thought, like, why would I ever go on YouTube? I like, no one cares what I have to say. And I'm at the point I don't care, because if it helps one person, all of it's worth it. Like, my goal is to just help one. If I can help more than one, that's amazing. That is more than I could ever ask for. But if all I get on here is one person, just one to help, I will be complete. So try to think of how you can open up your own gate. How can you get out of the way? What are you blocking? What do you have to offer to this world? Each and every one of us have so many amazing things to share, and I can't even imagine what it will look like when we all start to step out of our own way and we start to open up these gates and start sharing all this goodness that we have with each other. Like, what an amazing world that would be. So I'm super excited. I think we're heading that way. And I just wanted to talk about that today. I was talking to my friend about it, and I just, like, yeah, amazing concept that I just think will help this world. If we can just push on past this mindset that we don't have enough, and just move to that mindset of, like, the reality of this universe is completely endless and everything is completely endless and abundant. And yeah, we have way more resources than we realize, and you don't ever have to worry about running out. So share that light, share whatever you got with others, and watch what will happen.